Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. Kenya is still mourning the police brutality against innocent people who are only but exercising their democratic privileges enshrined in our sacred constitution. The onslaught against one community, the Luo community, where the police is hell-bent on killing, maiming and causing injuries against the Luo community is something that has been condemned by Kenyans of goodwill, bishops and all the clergy, and it is something that really needs to stop. Not only that, every Kenyan, irrespective of the community where they come from, should not be maimed. In fact, the role of the police always is to protect the people of Kenya. Sometimes I get to wonder why a police officer who is paid by our money, taxpayers' money, can go to such extent, of beating people aimlessly. And I understand that many are doing this because they feel they are protecting their government. The Kalenjin police feel that when they do this, they are protecting William Ruto. The Kikuyu policemen do this thinking that they're protecting Rigathi Gachagua, because according to the Kenya Kwanza policy, those who voted for them are the real shareholders. Those who did not vote for them are non-shareholders. And I get perturbed when civil servants also get this narrative into their heads. Let me make a disclaimer. There are some policemen who are good, but there are few who are tarnishing the name of that very department. In light of what is happening, because the onslaught really happened last week between Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, when Raila had expanded the protest days. And many leaders were hijacked. It is hijacking? Is it arresting? Just picking people when they are going to work, bundled in police boots. They were persecuted. Like I said earlier, someone was telling me this is a replica, reminiscent of the Nyayo regime. And I think we didn't expect any result, because we are dealing with a regime which is so much determined to get legitimacy through brutality. Now, in light of this, Raila Odinga and the Azimio fraternity decided to call off the Wednesday demonstrations. And I have seen people discuss this, and there are divided opinions. There are those who are saying that Raila should have not called off the demonstrations because it had gained momentum. Others are saying that it was the right thing to do to call it off. What do you think from where you are? Do you think it was right for the Azimio to call off the Wednesday demonstrations? If you ask me on this, I want to take a stand that it was the right thing to call off, or rather suspend, the demonstrations. And I'll give you only 3 reasons why I feel it was the right thing to do. Because every fighter knows when to fight, when to surrender, when to run. If you ask all the fighters, it is not all the times that when you're abducted, or when you're hijacked, or when you're subdued, that you have to fight. Sometimes you need to surrender with all your hands raised up. Like I had an interview when Raila's aide and bodyguard Maurice Ogeto was saying that he was ambushed by over 20 policemen, and he had to raise up his hand because he's a security officer. He knows very well that there are times when you need to surrender. You all understand that there are several members who voted for William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua, who are calling for Raila to go back to the streets so that they can become one in solidarity as they demonstrate against the finance bill. People were divided, and there's others was telling Raila that it is too early, let people suffer to the fullest so that they can understand the pangs of hunger, the pain of suffering before you go to the streets. Otherwise, those who are making noise will easily be deluded again by the narrative of this man wants to close our business and all that. All the same, Raila went back to the streets. The first one on Wednesday really caught the government by surprise because it was all over. And it seems they went back and retreated. And on the second one, where Raila wanted people to go from Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, I can say with authority that opposition was caught off guard. They underestimated the wrath of the government. Just like the government had underestimated the wrath of the people in the immediate previous one, where even in Machakos, the policemen were running from angry mob demonstrators. So the government decided, you remember when Babu Wino landed from Mombasa at JKA, he was arrested. People like Antonio Lodge, people like Aladwa, Raila's aide, Raila's spokesperson Dennis Onyango, several MCAs, and people were maimed and beaten. And the police was masquerading as journalists, taking photos. They could mingle with people at demonstrations. So they had crafted a plan to try and avert the demonstrations. So people were really killed and people were maimed. In this sense, let me tell you, if you ask me, you can't go on with the demonstrations when some of your beloved members are wallowing in pain in hospitals. The best thing to do is to retreat, to go and take care of them. Because there was no need, because it's about to be tomorrow when people are going to mourn with candles. So it was good to stop or suspend it to go and mourn with the people. You can't continue fighting when some of your soldiers are dead, others are maimed, others are in pain, including some of our young guys who were caught, I think they were from school, with 9 bullets and all that. It is good to suspend and mourn with them. When you mourn with them, it will give them others the courage to go to the streets when you call for other demonstrations. Others, when you keep on with the demonstrations and others are being injured, then it seems like you don't have a plan. And on this, I want to applaud Azimio for suspending, because now they are going to mourn, attend to those who are injured, and they even launched some pockets where I think people are sending money so that they can stand in solidarity, try to alleviate their pain by paying the medical bills. And on this was a good move. Number 2, it was good to retreat so that they can also assess the situation, because this is like a war, a battle. How do they move to the next step against the government? A government that is so inclined in beating people, injuring them, with the police that had changed tact. Because I remember Robert Alai was saying that the MCAs who are being apprehended are caught up in the melee when some policemen are masquerading as newspaper vendors. You know, they have masqueraded themselves so you don't see. So in this sense, Azimio also needs to change tact. You cannot do the same thing when your opponent has changed tact. So it was good for them to retreat and regroup and re-strategize. So it is a good thing for the Azimio to re-strategize, because even as you go to the streets, it is not Raila's wish or the Azimio's wish that people are killed. So they will be looking into, among other things, do they write a letter to The Hague again? What do they want to tell the international community that is very quiet? The international community, they are not coming up very strongly to condemn this police brutality. So re-strategizing was also very important, rather than just calling for another demonstration. Re-strategizing was another thing that needed to be done, and applaud. It's also good to assess the situation again. Right now, we need to get the number of people who have been maimed, the number who are dead. You cannot do this when everyone is on the street again. There must be some calmness for you to get the number, how the police got access to them, were they breaking the doors, did they beat people who are actually demonstrating. You must take your time to assess the situation. And the last one, this is what they are going to do to expose the Ruto administration. When they meet with the people, when they visit them, and the media is showing how many have been dead, and they go and show solidarity, the whole world will see them. Because one thing they're also trying to do is to expose this government. A government that, when you look at them, the hardware of the Ruto administration, they talk good, and you will think that this is the best government that we've ever had since independence. You've seen Ruto going on campaigns and defending how they are defending the police, how the police tried to protect people's businesses and all this. Yet the software is brutality. There are people who are lying in hospitals, including children and women, including old grannies who have been injured. So it takes the effort of Azimio. We can't just rely on the media alone. They also need to get their moment, go and visit them and tell the whole world what is happening. You see, if they go on with the demonstrations, the focus will be on demonstrations. The focus will be taken away from those who are already injured. So it's good that for a moment they focus on those who have been injured, so that people know that when people are demonstrating peacefully without weapons, government has launched an onslaught and is really pouncing on them like a lion pouncing on a prey. So if you ask me, ladies and gentlemen, it was a good thing for Azimio to suspend the demonstrations, because I know after this they will come up with another strategy. I know people are divided on this, but be in the shoes of those who have been injured, and you'll understand why it was also important that when we are also fighting for the economic and political and social emancipation, we have to be very considerate to the people who have been injured. I don't know what you think, but that is my feeling, and I support the suspension for a while, but I know it will come back.